All right. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello. Hello. I have a very important question. I'm going to get right into it. As always, I have a very important question for you. Are you short changing yourself? And are you short changing others as a result? Yes. So let me introduce myself to you. If you are new to my YouTube channel, and if we are just connecting, so my name is Beth Brown. I am a Christian confidence coach, and I am also a professional photographer. And today I'm going to talk from more of a business perspective because as a business owner, I shortchanged myself. And I am specifically talking today. I want to talk with people who are business owners, but also have a full-time job. So you have your business. Sometimes, maybe if you're from New York City, you might call it your side hustle. But you have that going, but you also have a full-time job. Now, I'm not saying everyone is like me, but what happened in my situation, and I didn't even realize I was shortchanging myself. And that's also something as a result of shortchanging myself, I was actually shortchanging my clients or potential clients, even. That's something that I didn't realize until I found myself in a position where I no longer had a full-time job and I was facing full-time entrepreneurship with no choice, as I say, but being in it to win it. So sometimes as business owners, we like to take shortcuts. We like to save money. Now, we may tell our potential customers, oh, why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? What will you lose if you wait any longer, if you wait another month or 6 months or a year or 3 years? What will you lose out on if you don't get coaching, if you don't get mentorship, if you don't purchase a whatever it is plan that you happen to be doing? Like what would it cost you if you didn't purchase my fitness plan, right? And get yourself in shape and allow me to be your fitness trainer, or whatever it is that your product or service happens to be, right? We might say that to our potential clients or clients, what's it going to cost you? Don't shortchange yourself. And we might always also say, well, people have money for what they want, not even necessarily what they need. Because, a lot of times we do, all of us, purchase what we want versus what we need. So we know this as business owners, but I, like you, maybe, and maybe not you, so maybe shortchanging yourself and not taking your own advice. I was not taking my own advice. So here's what happened. All right, I'm going to give you a very specific example because this was actually a regret, I could say, a business regret that I had, that I realized I had been shortchanging myself in. And as a result, when I was faced with being full time only, my business being my only source of income, I was like, uh-oh. I did my own website. Yes. I had decided in my mind that I did not have money for hiring a website designer. So I decided I would learn how to do my own website. Now, on one hand, I was very proud of myself because after tears, yes, literally, I remember being, you can't see it, but right over here is my couch to my right. And I remember sitting on my couch, like 2011 or 2012, I think it was. A little fuzzy on the date exactly, but sitting on my couch trying to figure out WordPress, trying to figure out how to connect the URL, I think, my domain name that I had purchased from GoDaddy onto the WordPress website, get it to read the customized version with, I mean, technology is not really my thing. It's a struggle for me. And so I remember there were tears watching YouTube videos. A friend of mine sent me some links for some tutorials. I watched those as well. And I got it together and I got it up and running. And I used that website. Now, of course, I would update it as my business evolved, but I used that website. I think it might have been 2011, but let's just say 2012. From 2012 to 2022. That's 10 years. 10 years of a homemade website. In those 10 years, I don't know how many thousands of dollars I made, but I made literally thousands of dollars, okay? Over 10 years, I would say I probably made hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And yet I didn't have the money to hire a website designer. Well, how was I shortchanging myself? Well, my work wasn't presented in a polished sort of way. So how am I expecting my clients who are saying, oh, I'm potentially interested in working with you and hiring you? What kind of impression am I giving them? Oh, okay, your website looks a little homemade. Maybe my photos are going to turn out a little homemade. It wasn't creating a great impression, right? And what happened in 2022 was I decided, well, I couldn't afford to be presenting myself in any less way than how I wanted people to see me and what my value and what my skills really are. My website was down here, but my value, my skills, my expertise as a photographer was up here. They were not meeting. They were not in alignment. There was a mismatch. And my whole premise is level up your life. I help people to level up their professional lives through my photography, through rebranding photo shoots, through headshots, through fashion photography, just through even a general portrait, right? I'm telling people let's level up your life, emotionally, spiritually, physically, through my confidence coaching. And I am not taking my own advice. I'm not leveling up the value of my brand and how people are perceiving it. Well, that's a huge problem. And that's kind of hypocrisy. And I am not about having that. I'm not about that life. And guess what I did? In a year where I lost $100,000 income, I somehow managed to find the money to hire a website designer. Yes. So here's the thing. A lot of times we shortchange ourselves. So I was shortchanging myself by not hiring someone to professionally present my brand, right? My skill is photography. My skill is not website design. Let's just face it. I am not a jack of all trades or a Jill of all trades, right? Nor should I be, nor should you be, right? It's not meant to be that way. We all have different talents and abilities. Just because I can do something and can figure it out doesn't mean I'm supposed to. Just like you can do something doesn't mean you're supposed to be doing it, right? It may not be a website for you. It may be something totally different, right? So think about in your life, where are you trying to be a Jill of all trades or a jack of all trades? Where are you trying to do everything outside of what you're supposed to be doing, outside of really your primary talents? And yes, in business, we do always, especially when we're starting out, sometimes just have to get things up and running. And I get it, right? But those things that you get up and running are just to get them up and running, right? You just want to get the ball rolling, so to speak, even. So you do it. And it's there for maybe a month or 6 months, maybe a year max. But to let it slide for 10 years, I know I'm not the only entrepreneur who's done this, who's tried to utilize something for a long period of time just to save money. But it wasn't like I would have not been able to find the money at a time when I was really in, right, a tight position. That's when I somehow was able to find the money, which means I would have had the money there all along. And when people went to my website, right, I was shortchanging them because the homemade version was not giving them a clear picture of what they could possibly get when they worked with me if they chose to work with me. And it was just shortchanging their whole experience, right? Right? If someone comes to your business or my business, we want to give them top tier experience. We want everything from the beginning when we first start to when we close that deal to when like the act, close the deal, we get the job, or and then even beyond to when we finish up and wrap everything up, right? And the project is complete, right? The whole experience from beginning to end should be enjoyable for our clients. My website was a bit of a choppy experience, it was not very clear to people how I could help them. Now it is. I think, because when I redid it, I got opinions, right? I sent out and got feedback, and people told me it was clear. So, you can go check out my website, levelupwithbeth.com, and let me know if there's anything, that's not clear, and I'll definitely clear it up and have my website designer tweak it. But I've gotten feedback from other people, other users. I've gotten user feedback. That's also something. That's another way sometimes we shortchange ourselves, is we're not willing to get that feedback because we might not hear an answer in the feedback that we like. And so we'll avoid it, right? Or not know how to solve the feedback that we've gotten. And so we'll ignore it or just not address it. And those are also ways we can continue shortchanging ourselves in our businesses and shortchanging our clients. So, I part of one of the reasons why I was shortchanging myself was I was thinking, well, I have my job, and this is my business. And yes, I took it seriously. And yes, I took pride in my work. And yes, I wanted all of my clients to be happy with their photos. But I didn't understand that when we're in our businesses, like, we can't let things slide and count on something else to pick up the slack. And I was using my full-time job as a crutch to lean on. When I no longer had my full-time job as a crutch to lean on for my income, I was faced with all of these, holes in my business that I hadn't addressed simply because I had this crutch. So I challenge you, even if you have a full-time job still, and I have no problem with anyone having a full-time job, right? This is not, I'm not the type of business owner who's like, oh, you have to be full-time in entrepreneurship. No, it's okay to be full-time in the corporate world or full-time in the private sector or nonprofit business or wherever you happen to be working full-time, right? Right? You could be a government employee full-time. It's perfectly fine, right? But your business is your business, and your full-time job, you can use it to finance, right, and help fund your business, but never use it as a crutch, as like, well, it's okay that my business over here isn't up to snuff because I can still depend on my full-time job. You may lose your full-time job, right? Nothing's guaranteed. And so that's the thing, that if something happens to your full-time job, you're not like, I was going, oh my goodness, now I have to get all of these things up to snuff that I've been letting slide for 10 years because I was using my full-time job as my crutch. And think about all of the clients, right? I may have missed out on clients, right? People look at my website, they're like, it looks homemade. She's not going to have, like I said earlier, she's probably going to be giving me homemade, so to speak, looking photos. I want someone who's professional. Wasn't that I wasn't professional. It's that I was not presenting myself at first glance professionally, and first impressions count. So whatever it is, that's a business regret that I have of mine. But I'm not going to sit around and be like, oh, woe is me, I have this regret. No, I mean, you learn from your mistakes, right? And then you grow from them. That's the whole point of a regret, is not to stay in that spot and be like, oh, I should have done this. I wasn't about ready to feel sorry for me. I didn't waste any time feeling sorry about any of it. I just said, okay, I see that I made a serious mistake. I shortchanged myself for 10 years. Let me move forward. Let me get this done. Let me figure out how I'm going to get this done. Let me find the resources and the means and the right fit for me to get this done, and be and get my website where it needs to be. So don't be like beating yourself up, right? It's not about perfection. It's not about having it done right. It's not about even not, a lot of times we want to say live your life without regret, right? We're all going to have things where we'll be like, oops, but you want to move forward from that. What can I learn from this? Okay, now apply it and move forward. And then you're no longer shortchanging yourself. You're no longer shortchanging other people. So that is what I wanted to say and ask you, and just challenge you to kind of do like a quick little audit of your business. You can even do it and apply it to your life, in your relationships, your relationship with yourself, your relationships with your friends, your life partner, your professional relationships. Where am I shortchanging myself? And am I, as a result of that, shortchanging other people? Just kind of take an inventory and an audit of your life, and I can always support you with that, right? I can support you with taking a quick audit as well, of your business, because, I've learned some oopsies. So I can support you with that. But even more, as a confidence coach, I can help you if you take an audit of your life and you're like, oh, I have been shortchanging myself in this area, particularly if it's in the area of your relationships, your self-care, your self-confidence, your self-love, right? Forgiving yourself, forgiving others. If you're taking an audit of your personal life and you're saying, oh, I've been shortchanging myself in these areas, my life is not advancing like I want or need it to, or had thought it would, I'm kind of disappointed with myself. Well, I can definitely help you. I'm going to put the link below this video, and you can set up a chat time. So pick a time that works for you, for your convenience, and we can chat for 30 minutes and kind of come up with an action plan outline. No strings attached, right? It does not mean that necessarily we would be the perfect fit for one another, right? I may be the perfect, a good fit for you as a coach and mentor. I may not be, right? But we can at least chat, come up with an action plan so that you can, advance forward in life, personally and professionally and in your relationships, and start writing new life success stories where you are no longer shortchanging yourself. You are no longer shortchanging those who are in your life at, the different levels. So personal or professional levels. All right. So that is what I wanted to chat about with you today. It is a Friday when I am chatting with you right now, but you may be watching this video, I don't know, a month from now. So happy weekend, happy rest of your day or morning or evening. And I will be chatting and sharing some more business tips and coaching tips and life success tips. So make sure you also subscribe to this channel. All right. Peace.